Prince Kassad versus General Alexander.
Your rush tactics won't work on me. Welcome, General. Are you ready to begin? Oh, what's that sound? And look, there's a light in the sky. I wonder... Oh dear. I am sorry, General, but that's just how I like to say hello. Well, good luck, General.
I've been putting this one off for a while. This mission's not my favorite, and playing it as GLA is even worse, since they don't have any air units. You can't really get across the water very easily, and while they do give you a sneak attack tunnel and you could use this to attack early on, really not a good idea considering they're going to send the Aurora bombers pretty much immediately, and if you're not building and using your money very wisely, then your defenses are going to get blown up, or the units that you're building to sneak attack with are going to get blown up. Perhaps they'll get all your tunnels. That's a possibility to have had that happen. The biggest problem is the Aurora Alpha bombers. They attack kind of randomly, depending on how many you shoot down. If you shoot them all down, that kind of jumbles up the numbers a bit as far as when they're going to attack. And if you're not constantly rebuilding stuff for them to blow up so they don't attack your more important stuff, then you're going to get overran. They're going to attack your front line, it's going to blow up, then the Comanches come in, and things get really fucking nasty after that. Even if you follow my strategy right here, which is what I consider the easy method to beat this, you still have to know quite a bit about the map and how the AI reacts on this map, and a lot of other dumb bullshit that's not going to help you in any other fucking mission, not even in skirmish mode. Well, you know, I take that back. It does kind of help you in skirmish mode and maybe against the Laser General Challenge because you learn something really fucking important. The artificial intelligence really sucks at using the particle cannon. They typically can't blow up more than 1 or 2 buildings unless you space them really fucking poorly, and they tend to go after stuff that's not really hard to replace. So if you place your buildings like I'm going to in this mission, you're not going to have to worry about the particle cannons at all. They'll do a couple $1,000s worth of damage, maybe take out a barracks, possibly an arms dealer, but other than that, they're not a threat. At least it won't be that big of a deal as long as I can trick the AI into targeting my barracks over and over again, which should be pretty simple. Every time you build it on that coast over there, they tend to go right after it.
Ready for war.
There is one wild card here, though, in that I don't know how she's going to react to stealth buildings. Either it's going to help me out a lot, or it's going to fuck up her targeting and make her target shit that I don't want her to go after to begin with.
I'm hungry.
That didn't hurt too much, did it?
The cannons will protect
The
us.
battlefield is a rough place, General.
What makes this Comanche attack so nasty is that you saw what she tried to do with the Warthog. She tried to take out the fucking arms dealer, right? So you're not supposed to have quad cannons right now, essentially. Just RPG troopers and stinger sights, and if you didn't have the foresight to build some anti-air, you're probably gonna die at this point. Or lose a whole bunch of money, one or the other.
There's not enough room for that building.
Another perfectly executed
Are
strike.
there not better tools?
But since I haven't lost a whole lot of money and I'm not dead yet, now's a great time to get that palace going, because I want those super weapons as fast as possible. The more volleys I have to take from the particle cannon, the less money I'm going to have to build scud storms, and shit could just get really bogged down if I let that happen. I can't let my economy tank. And while I say the money lost from the particle cannons isn't a big deal, you know, a couple $1,000s is about half of a scud storm, so yeah, you got to keep that in mind. Not to mention I don't have cash bounty yet, and if I have cash bounty and launch a scud storm, I'm going to make a shitload of money. At least I think so. Thinking about it, I don't know if a scud storm will actually count for cash bounty, but it'd be bullshit if it didn't, so I'm just going to assume that it will. Worst case scenario, I'll still make a lot of money shooting down Aurora Alphas, and that's probably the saving grace for the GLA here, in that if you shoot down a bunch of Aurora Alphas, you're going to get to rank 5 quickly, and if you got cash bounty, you're going to have a constant source of income, because she's just going to keep sending those fucking expensive things out after your base. So if I see any opportunity to blow something up and get some extra rank, I'm going to go for it immediately, because getting cash bounty up's pretty fucking important here. It's always important, but it's especially important when you're relying on super weapons, and constantly trying to recoup costs from high-tech attacks from the enemy, it can get really hard to keep your finances together in this kind of situation.
This is hard work. A lot of work.
Our way is
Tactical
through.
superiority is key,
Yes.
General. Here, let me show you.
Camo netting has arrived.
Every time. So yeah, just build your barracks right there and you'll be alright. Just, don't let it die. You know, getting your tech tree blocked off is one thing, but if she starts using those particle cannons on your palace and other shit, then yeah, you could be in a lot of trouble, especially at this point. This is probably the hardest point of the mission right here. Mainly because it just demands so much of your attention. You have to rebuild while building up and keeping an eye out for every little fucking thing that could possibly go wrong.
Base is in peril.
It only gets easier from here, but if you're playing this your first time and you're in this situation and say they broke through and destroyed your base, you probably wouldn't want to play this again on hard difficulty. You probably want to bump it down a little bit just to get through this one, but well, I guess you can't do that since you'd just be stuck on medium at that point. Yeah, I fucking hate this challenge. This is one of those challenges that really doesn't have any value to it. You know, you can't play it more than once and get something new out of it, and you're stuck doing the same shit every time just because she has such a huge advantage over you, and it's really not that fun. It would be one thing if she got the Aurora Alpha bombers, say, 15 minutes into the match, but she gets them fucking 5 minutes in and she rushes you. So you get rushed,
Camo netting has
and she
arrived.
has more money and more technology, and she has the level advantage. 3 fucking particle cannons. You know, if she could accurately aim those and didn't just go after the barracks every single time, I don't think you'd be able to beat this mission. I think it might actually be impossible. I can't imagine how they would think you're supposed to beat this mission without exploiting the AI. If you try to tackle this like a skirmish or even a regular Command and Conquer mission, you're just going to get your shit kicked in. Not that I hate hard missions, but the way that you beat this mission is to exploit the weaknesses in the AI. Not like a weakness that's programmed into the game, just a weakness that the AI inherently has and that they're really awful at targeting things. This mission kind of feels like I'm playing some elaborate no-rush scenario set up by a new player who wants to have some kind of leverage over me in a multiplayer match. Maybe if you're watching me do this mission for the first time and you haven't seen it before, this could look exciting, but I'm really not worried about anything. I was a little bit worried about where that particle cannon is going to hit since it's been a while since I've done this, but with that in control, nothing's going to destroy me. I'm perfectly safe right now, no matter how dire it seems.
I'm just a
You know what? This would be pretty exciting if this was my first time doing this one and I was just now figuring out the strategy to beat it and get past this hard challenge, but now that I know what to do, it's really not a challenge at all. It's just another fucking hurdle to get over before I can play some of the funner challenges.
Very wisely now, did you? Fools
Do not
rush
hurt
in,
me.
General. I take my time.
Be on watch for the enemy.
Sad thing is, that's all I really have to say about the mission. I mean, I could explain it further, but what more is there to say? I endure the attacks, I build the Scud Storms, I blow their shit up, that's it. You've already seen all of her attacks, except for one. There's one more left. She pulls some bullshit to where she has Chinooks come from outside of the map at the bottom, and they come in through your base at the bottom, so you can't shoot them down from the front. You don't know when they're coming, so if you don't have any anti-air down at the bottom of your base, she gets some units in on the ground to attack you from behind, which, yeah, another bullshit attack to where, yeah, you could have all this other shit down and they toss in one little fucking thing to fuck you up, but it's a real fucking cheap shot, too. It's just, well, nothing but cheap shots, and the gimmick runs out quick. They, again, run out of shit at this point, and like I said, the last thing that they do is that little chopper sneak attack, and, well, if you have a couple of anti-air units down at the bottom of the base, it's not a big deal either. It's also important to remember that if you're playing this at home and you're not recording a video, then you can just save scum all that you want. So I could file a save right now, and if that Chinook attack happened, I could just jump back to this point instead of having to go all the way back to the fucking beginning. But I'm saving that particular strategy for when I run into something that I just can't fucking beat in one shot, which hasn't happened yet, but I've ran into a couple things that got close to that, and this was probably the first one that really started giving me fucking problems. Thankfully, I've been tortured by this mission so many times that I don't need this save scum. I know it up and down, pretty much everything about it. And while I would use the sneak attack tunnels and try to finish this off even more quickly, at most I'll just save about 5 minutes, and I just don't feel like putting in a bunch of extra effort on this mission just to try to finish it 5 minutes more quickly, because it's one of those missions to where once you put effort into it, it starts to feel like work. It already is kind of boring, but if I gotta struggle through this one no matter what, then it's work. At least if I do it this way, it's lazy. I can sit here and talk to the microphone all I want, and I don't feel like the map is pushing me around. It may not look like it, but I'm actually the one with the leverage right now. The artificial intelligence can't get out of its attack loop, so I'm going to win this one based purely off the fact that I'm the only one advancing. Very slowly, but I am advancing. Though it's going to take about 20 or 30 minutes for me to advance enough to destroy them, I'm still going to get there. Still, that's another thing that bugs me about this mission. It demands so much of your time, you know? You could build really quick and you could take this out really quickly, but even then, you're going to have to plan around it, so if you don't put a lot of time studying this map, then you're not going to be able to beat it quickly either way. I mean, that's true for all maps, but especially for this one. I mean, you got to know where all the fucking units are, where everything is, when every attack's going to happen, because, well, if you put down a sneak attack tunnel and attacked right before the particle cannon was going to go off, she'll probably use it on your units, and that'll cost you maybe about 8,000 credits, you know what I mean? Enough to build a not a particle cannon, but enough to build a Scud Storm at the very least. The ironic part is, even if you wanted to beat this mission quickly, you would have to put a lot of time into it just to know where everything is in order to do that, so there's no way to get past this mission without putting an investment into it. It's gonna take your fucking time up. There's no way around it. This mission kind of feels like a driving test, like I have to beat this one in order to get onto the fun stuff.
That was a lot of work.
Shh! I sense
Yes.
danger may be near.
I can't
The new
build there.
camo netting has arrived.
If that is what you want. What do you want with me? There's not enough room for that building.
You know, I should be happy that I'm getting my Scud Storms up right now, but it just means that I'm going to have to wait for more timers. I got to wait more and more and more. It's just one of the worst things in this series. I really hate having to deal with super weapon timers. It always feels like some kind of punishment one way or the other. Either I have a super weapon looming over my head, or my super weapons aren't going to be ready for another fucking 5, 15, 20 minutes. Definitely doesn't make commentary any easier, because I'm just sitting here staring at super weapons waiting for fucking timers to go down, you know? There's really not too much to add to that. I mean, look at this mission. Most of the point of the mission is that they take out ground units for the most part. They take out all of your avenues to attack, and you just sit here and get dumped on. But hey, if you're really good at getting dumped on, you can build some super weapons, and maybe you can dump on her in about 30 minutes. It's like a Shiza film, you know? The dumping goes both ways, and it's not really pleasant for anybody. Except for the people who watch those kind of things and get off to it, you sick fuckers.
I will do what I must.
I'm not even 20 minutes in, and I've already ran out of shit to say about this mission. I'm comparing it to Shiza films. I'm pretty much fucking dry at this point. This mission could be fun, though. You know, if there are naval units or something like that, it would be a lot more entertaining. In fact, playing the Shockwave version of this mission was a lot more fun. I mean, it wasn't great. You really can't polish a turd that much, but at least I could cross the water. They built a bridge for you to use, and there were some aquatic units that could just go across the water. It made the whole thing a lot more entertaining. In fact, I think you could blame a lot of this mission just on the map design. The fact that I can't go across the water without having to resort to sneak attack tunnels, that's just awful. And even if I did have air units, they still have the EMP Patriots, so one missile, the air unit's down. That's it. Which, kind of overpowered. But everything she has is overpowered, and that's not necessarily bad, except for the fact that they give her everything right away. You know, it takes out the whole entire having to work for the money thing out of the equation, and it really makes her the least balanced challenge out of this whole fucking game. I mean, I understand the logic behind it. They can't make the AI any smarter, so they have to give it infinite resources and all that other stuff. But what else can they do? Oh, well, we'll just give Super Weapon all of her tech right away. That'll make her hard. And it's true, it does make her hard, but
I'm just a
on the
peasant,
same end, once
and
you
I have
figure out
some
how to beat her,
shoes.
she can't do anything to change. The most that she does is that little sneak attack, which I've already set up again. She's not going to be able to pull that off, so at this point, despite how much leverage she gets at the start, she's completely fucking defenseless. And if she wasn't completely fucking defenseless, this challenge would be fucking impossible. You wouldn't be able to
My
beat
hands
it.
have splinters.
All they'd have to do is change the code up to where she
Cannot
attacks
we live in
randomly
peace?
instead of attacking what she feels like. Then all of a sudden your base is just going to get ripped up by particle cannons and bombings, and you'll just be fucked. That would be so much worse, though.
Yes.
Oh, God. Then beating it would be a random equation, you know. Maybe you get lucky and the fuel air bombs only attack certain things, or maybe you get unlucky and they blow up all your important shit right
This hammer
away.
is heavy.
That would be the
What do you
worst.
want with
So
me?
maybe I should count my blessings right now.
That building
In
cannot
fact, it
fit
wouldn't
there.
surprise me if they scaled down
There's
this
not
one a little
enough
bit.
room
I
for that
mean,
building.
the AI already gets basically infinite
that
money,
is
and
what you
the
want.
fact that they have advanced tech right from the start isn't a surprise. They do that with all the challenges, but this one's particularly fucking bad. And like I said, most of the problems are related to the map, not even the fact that she has all of her tech or everything, just the fact that she has her tech, and in addition to that, you're not going to be able to attack on the ground at all.
The new
I
camel
keep
has
fucking that up.
arrived.
You can technically use the sneak attack tunnels, but like I've
I'm
said,
just a peasant.
if you fuck up or if the AI just decides, hey, I'm going to send some fucking Aurora bombers
We're
after those
waiting for
units,
you,
then
General.
your
What's
sneak
keeping
attack's fucking worthless. The only way I can see around that is if the artificial intelligence doesn't send anything out after your sneak attack tunnels if you put them on that second island up to the north. Maybe I could invade there with the sneak attack tunnel, take it over, and maybe it won't get bombed, maybe it won't get hit with the particle cannon, but those are a lot of maybes, and I really don't feel like playing this one 4 or 5 times over. I just like to knock this one out in one shot. No way I'm going to take 3 hours out of my day to play this 3 or 4 times just to learn how to use another strategy to beat this more quickly. That would be fun to do on a fun challenge, but this isn't a fun challenge. To learn this one and to do it well is work. That's what it is. I think I'd rather do China Mission 3 again. I could do a lot of fun stuff in 3 hours. Could teach myself 3D Studio Max. I could draw something in Flash. I could make another, like, 3 or 4 Command & Conquer videos and post those instead. Lots of other shit I could be doing. In fact, next time I do this mission, I'm going to look it up online and see if anybody's beat it in about 15 or 20 minutes and just copy their strategy, because I fucking hate this mission. It's just not worth my time. It's the only mission in the entire series that really feels like work to me. I mean, China Mission 3 in 0 Hour was pretty bad, but it was still kind of a fun challenge at the end of the day. I mean, it was frustrating, but it didn't take up my entire fucking day at least. Not like this mission did the first time I tried to learn how to
You
beat
don't
it.
know what
If
to
that is
expect
what
The
from
way I
one
learned how to
dude.
beat this mission is that I just let her beat the shit out of me over and over again until I saw her attack pattern. That's it. After about 5 or 6 failures, I noticed that the particle cannon was going after that one area the entire time, so I figured, fuck it, build a barracks there. She'll blow that up. Only costs 500 to rebuild, no problem. But then she sent in the Chinooks from the bottom of the screen, and I couldn't predict that, and she blew up my fucking base. And then I spent another 40 fucking minutes just to figure out how to stop that, and at least it stopped there. You know, the bullshit stops right there, and that's nice, but you know, at that point, you still got to get the Scud Storms up, and the entire time you're rebuilding all the shit that the Alphas blow up, and fuck, it's just a bunch of work. I think what gets to me is having to rebuild all the shit that the Alphas blow up. So in addition to watching my finances and being really careful about keeping that barracks up so the particle cannon doesn't go apeshit all over my base, I also have to constantly rebuild these Stinger sites just so that she has something to play with while I'm busy. It's not even so bad that she has the Aurora Alphas, it's bad that she can afford to replace them indefinitely, so she has infinite Aurora Alphas, which infinite anything's going to be hard to deal with in a game where you have limited resources, but the unit she has an unlimited amount of can attack you with a high damage bomb without being hit until it's done attacking you. That's just too fucking much.
Well done,
Then to top it all off, they put it on a map to where if you're limited to ground units, you're not attacking her. At least you're not attacking her effectively.
Greatest super weapon.
Though if there is an effective way to attack on the ground, I'd like to know it. I'm kind of doubtful that I'm going to be able to utilize it without a lot of training, because if you mess with her targeting too much by building a bunch of targets that she's going to prioritize over your barracks and your stinger sites, then you're going to lose a whole shitload of money. Because you can't do a damn thing to stop her particle cannons or her alpha bombers. Those are just going to hit you no matter what. In fact, the way I see it, this mission's more fun if you don't have to try. If you use my strategy to where you don't have to try to win, then you're probably getting a better experience out of this mission since you're not having to work to win. Which I hate saying, because a lot of my favorite missions you have to work to win at. It's just that there's multiple ways to win and you're not just getting your shit kicked in the whole entire time. I know I'm repeating that point, but that's literally all this mission is. I wish it was more interesting, because then I'd have more to talk about, but as it is, all I can do is bitch about it because I hate it so damn much. I hope that doesn't spoil the commentary, but it's either I bitch about this mission or I talk about something that doesn't have anything to do with it whatsoever.
I'm just a peasant.
There's just not that much going on here.
I will do the
Unless
best
you
I
like
can.
watching super weapon timers, I guess, in which case this is for you right here.
General,
What do you want
our
with me?
enemy is using their particle
I will do what I must.
A warning is falling.
Oh, fuck off with that bullshit. Come on. I mean, I can survive this now, but still, fuck you, game. Just fuck you.
Building construction has been completed. If
If
that
you
is
fail
what
to
you
plan,
want,
you plan to fail, General. Think about it.
Also, none of her audio cues have any context anymore. She's just talking shit to me. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Think about it. It's like, what is there to think about? She's just knocking down buildings at random using shit that you can't stop. There's no planning against that. You're gonna get hit. The only plan that you can have is to get your ass beat, and that's a really shitty plan. If I'm going into a fight and my only plan is to get my ass kicked, I'm just gonna try to avoid the fucking fight to begin with.
I'm just a peasant.
But I can't avoid this
will
one.
go.
You know, maybe it's a life lesson. Sometimes you just get your ass kicked and there's nothing you can do about it, but... You know, I don't play games to learn life lessons. I play games to
Fools
relax
rush
and
in,
have
General.
fun.
I
That
take
and
my
any
time.
lesson that ends with you getting your ass beat probably isn't worth learning to begin with.
There's not enough room for that building. Cannot we live in peace?
We can now use our Scud Storm. Launching Scud Storm.
Normally, I'm excited when my super weapons are ready, but I'm gonna have to do this 2 or 3 more times. I got another
I
fucking
warn
10
you
minutes of
not
this
to
shit.
underestimate me.
Really not that much to say about it. I would fast forward, but, I don't know. You really want to miss the show? It's only a matter of time before I fly off the handle and start saying some really bad shit that I'll probably have to edit out later. So if you hear a big fucking silent spot, you know what happened.
Can't build there.
Either that or I just ran out of shit to say, which,
That
thinking
building
about it, I
can't
ran out
build
of shit
there.
to say 10 minutes ago. I am just out. I finished this about 10 minutes ago, actually.
Cannot we live in
All I'm
peace?
waiting for now is for the super weapons to count down to 0. That's it. There ain't anything else to it. I'd built up enough forces to do a ground attack, but at this point, it's just shaving 2-3 minutes off the fucking timer, and this is going to go well into about 40 minutes, so... Yeah, it's a waste
I've
of
been
effort.
analyzing your tactics
It's
for
really the
just
map's
days.
fault. The fact that they
You
have to
even
give you the
have
sneak
any
attack
tactics,
tunnel right
General?
away because they know you're going to have a hard time attacking the enemy, that's how you know it's a shitty map. This isn't a cakewalk for the other generals either. I mean, you got to look after your power plants, and even if you do send aircraft out, the MP Patriots shoot them down in one hit, like I said, so... Yeah, you're going to lose a lot of money to that shit.
We can now use our Scud Storm. Launching Scud Storm.
This is one of the rare exceptions to where I wish the artificial intelligence would just quit. Just give up. I don't care if I destroy your base. You know, usually that's fun for me, but you managed to suck all the fun out of that. Which is kind of impressive, because I really enjoy blowing shit up, but nope, they spoiled it. Here it is, just completely fucked up.
Attacking me, General.
Oh, that's sad. I just reached level 5, so if I didn't get the sneak attack tunnel from the start, I would just now be able to unlock it. That's fucked. You know what? Screw it. That's it. I don't have any more respect for this mission. I'm fast forwarding to the end here.
Launching a Scanstorm.
I am finished with the building. Onward.
That should be enough.
I was using that one. I'd attack if I were you, General. If you wait, then I'll just have one more super weapon to fire at you. I need time to think. Go away, General. You have no respect for other people's property.
Oh, wait, of course it's not. I didn't blow up the island.
Our base is in peril!
A warrior has fallen.
Yay! Fuck that mission. I fucking
We are
hate it.
victorious.
It's not fair. One more super weapon and I would have beaten you, General. Challenge me again. I dare you.
Nope. Fuck off.